There's a ton of news on the transfer portal front for the Red Raiders, including a running back withdrawing his name from the portal and returning to the 806, a couple of decommitments for the Red Raiders, and 2 or 3 bat signals sent out on Twitter. If you know, you know. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxwell here for the Back to 12 podcast. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notification bell so you can stay on the know on everything Texas Tech football, not just during the season, but during the off season as well. And we're right in the thick of it right now when it comes to National Signing Day being tomorrow. There's a lot going on when it comes to transfers, high school commits, everything in between. We've got you covered right here on the most engaging Texas Tech community in the Back to 12 podcast channel. All right, let's jump right into today's news, as there's quite a bit of it. And we will start with some former Texas Tech wide receivers finding new homes. We've got Jerand Bradley heading north to the Northeast, to be more specific, and he will be a Boston College Eagle. Then you've got Myles Price. He will head up to, the Midwest, and he will go to Indiana and be a Hoosier. So those 2 Red Raiders find new homes in the Power 5. Good for them. Wish them nothing but success. Now, on the decommitment front for the Red Raiders, or I guess the decommit front for Texas Tech, you've got defensive lineman Danny Saili. He will head out to BYU now and be a part of the Cougars program after committing to Texas Tech earlier this month. He was a top 20 graded defensive lineman from the JUCO ranked, was actually really the first commitment Texas Tech had during quote-unquote portal season, and now he flipped his commitment after taking an official visit out to Provo, and he will play for the Cougars starting next season. Now, as for the other decommitment for Texas Tech, it is tight end Alex Lines. He was a transfer from Garden City Community College. He will now look for another home after he had played previously at Arizona, UNLV. Texas Tech just got a couple of really good wide receivers, and they got a lot of good tight ends in the portal as well. So there were limited options in terms of Alex Line receiving any kind of playing time, right? You think about what the tight end position is right now for Texas Tech going into 2024 and the wide receiver position. There's not a lot of, really passes to be caught for Alex Line. So it made sense considering you got a guy like Baylor Cupp. He's probably coming back. Mason Tharp is coming back. You got Jalen Conyers from the portal, and then you got John Carlos Miller as well from Elon earlier this past weekend. So not a lot of snaps to go around for Alex Lines. He will look for a new spot in the portal. Now, a guy that won't be looking for a new spot in the portal is Texas Tech running back Cameron Valdez. Yes, you read that right. Texas Tech running back Cameron Valdez. Let's read his statement that he put on Twitter. You can see it on your screen right now. First and foremost, I would like to thank the man above for guiding me in making this decision, my family who supported me, and the dedicated coaches for their unwavering guidance and support. I realize that what it means to be a Red Raider, and I've decided I don't want to leave that behind. With that being said, I hereby withdraw my entry from the transfer portal. I remain committed to being a Red Raider and look forward to contributing to its success. Wreck 'em. That's big for Texas Tech in a lot of ways, from the sheer standpoint of, hey, you get a guy back in Cameron Valdez that really is that lightning component to Taj Brooks. You didn't know who you were going to get in the portal. Maybe a Bryson Donnell steps up into that secondary running back spot, but now you got Cameron Valdez back, who actually played in the bowl game, who was in the portal while he did it, and so did Loic Fouonji, who caught a touchdown while he was in the portal. Weird times in college football, but nonetheless, you get a guy back like Cameron Valdez, who I think is going to have a significant amount of carries next year in the sense of what he did from 2023 to 2024. I don't see Taj Brooks getting 290 carries again. I just don't see that happening. Now, could he? Yeah, I think it's in the realm of possibilities, but I also think there's the factor of wear and tear. And Cameron Valdez, he battled some injuries this year, but I think he's going to be utilized more in 2024 in the sense of really getting him involved as the secondary running back for Texas Tech and getting him in that range of 50 to 75 carries feels right for Cameron Valdez in 2024. I think that's where he lands. Maybe has some catches in there as well. Get him in that 75 to 90 touch range if possible. Maybe a little bit more difficult now with some of the receivers and really the offense being a little bit more effective, you would think, because of the additions at wide receiver and tight end via the portal, whether that's, Josh Kelly, Caleb Payday Douglas, Jalen Conyers, other guys that I mentioned. And obviously you get a guy like Taj Brooks back and a guy in the portal high school ranks in Micah Hudson, the first 5-star in Texas Tech program history. But from the standpoint of specifically the Texas Tech running back room, this is a big, big time, I guess, removal from the portal. He never really went anywhere since he did play in the bowl game. But to have him back is a big deal for Texas Tech from the standpoint of having that 1-2 punch. And I would suspect Bryson Donnell would get a couple more snaps going into next year, but who knows at this point with Cameron Valdez back. Either way, this is a big-time deal for Texas Tech, specifically in the running back room. Now, there were a couple of bat signals sent out, and that's something that I talked about in the open. And what I mean by bat signals is this. Multiple Texas Tech coaches sent out tweets, whether that's Zach Kittley and the Denzel Washington boom, whether that's Juice with the red alert, whether that's Coach McGuire with the Ric Flair. He changed it up a little bit. I don't know how I feel about that, but nonetheless, it doesn't matter. A few of them sent out the bat signal. Was that related to Cameron Valdez? Some people are saying that. There's also been multiple sent out, though, in terms of not just one from one specific coach, but two from each coach kind of deal. So there's the interesting component of this. I wonder if there's more commits coming in. National Signing Day is tomorrow for Texas Tech. We'll have coverage of that here on the channel as well, talking about each and every prospect that officially signs their NLI to Texas Tech, National Letter of Intent. That will include Micah Hudson. That will include Will Hammond. There will be multiple others, Ellis Davis, Holton Hendricks. The list goes on and on in terms of guys that are committing to Texas Tech and officially putting pen to paper tomorrow for the Red Raiders. So you're going to want to stay in the know on that. And the best way to do it is simply like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell so you're notified right away when the latest video here on the channel comes out. But to recap some of the Texas Tech news today, you got Jerand, Bradley, and Myles Price ending up at new destinations. Bradley ends up at Boston College. Myles Price ends up at Indiana. Then you had two JUCO decommitments for the Red Raiders from the portal in terms of Danny Saili. He goes out to BYU, a flip situation. Then you had Alex Lines, a tight end from the community college ranks. He decommitted after Texas Tech landed two other tight ends in Jalen Conyers from Arizona State and John Carlos Miller from Elon. And then the biggest news for the Red Raiders is by far Cameron Valdez, running back for Texas Tech, removes himself from the portal and will return to the 806 in 2024 to have that thunder and lightning combination with him and Taj Brooks for at least one more season out in the 806. I'm RC Maxfield reminding you one more time, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to join the most engaging Texas Tech community here on YouTube in the Back to 12 podcast channel.